I'm going to show you a quick, simple demo, and we're going to build on that and get into some more complex and more interesting scenarios. So let me clear my screen here. Let me bring this over. There we go. All right. So I've got this simple pipeline called simple debugging. And I'm going to go ahead and you can see all of these steps are just Alpine. That's all that's going on here. So I'm just going to run this in debug mode. And this is going to allow me to add in breakpoints wherever I want. So you can see I've actually done this before. So I have these breakpoints set to override at these different steps here. These are overrides. You can also set breakpoints before and after. One of the reasons that before and after are so useful is when you're using a typed step. So if you're using like a Docker build step, you can't actually do an override on that step. You can only do it before and after on that step. If you're doing a freestyle step, then you can actually override the step. So this is now starting. We can see that it's kicking off the debugger. Now, one thing about this is a brand new feature we just announced, and I think that there's more optimizations that we're going to be doing onto it. I noticed that right now it runs a lot faster when you're using Alpine-based images than Debian-based images. Debian-based images need a lot more tooling installed. So here, now you can see I've actually dropped into a debug console. Now, if you don't understand how a Codefresh pipeline works, this whole flow might actually be confusing. So it's worth taking just a second to talk about it. If you look here, let me shrink that a little bit. If you look at this pipeline, what you see is a bunch of steps, and some of these are staged out. Every single one of these steps actually is running in its own container. And every single step is attached to a shared volume. So this is a container-based pipeline. This allows me to use Docker images or steps, essentially like functions that I can call in my pipeline. And we have this whole huge library of steps that you can use for doing things like canary releases, blue-green deployments, getting vault secrets, deploying to Helm, setting up pull requests, Slack alerts, whatever. We have this huge library of these things. And you can literally use any Docker image as a step as well. So here you can see I'm actually working in this volume. I've exported this out, and I'm gonna create. Let's just make a directory. We'll call it step 1. So now you can see this is in the Codefresh volume. So this step 1 directory is going to be consistent throughout the entire rest of my pipeline because I've created it in the shared volume. The other thing I can do is I can actually view variables that are been set to export. So I'm going to run a cat on environmental variables to export. You can see that I don't have anything right now. If I ran a CF export, this is a default command that's always available in a CIC in Codefresh pipelines. If I run a CF export, foo equals bar, and then we rerun that again, we'll see that variable is now set. And if we did like a print env on here, you're going to see all the different variables. Oops, my API key showed up, so I'm going to have to go disable this after that. You can see all of the variables that are available when you're running in pipeline execution mode. Hopefully nobody's fast enough to get that. I'll go reset it after this. But it's just a demo account anyway, so it's okay. All right, so I'm going to let's just go ahead and continue this, and we'll see that stuff is available in our next step here. So this is now continuing. We're now moving on, and in step 2, I have a set before and override. If we look at so now we're actually before, we're outside of a container, right? Well, technically no, you're always going to be in a container when you're in the debug, but we're basically not in the step right now. So if I run a cat on this OS release, you can see that the before override step actually gives you essentially an Alpine image where you can work. And if we cat out, well, actually I can just echo it out. If I echo I called it foo, right? Yeah, you can see that that variable is still set because I exported it, even though I'm actually in a different step, I'm in a different container. So this is a very simple kind of introduction to debug pipeline. Let's get into some more interesting scenarios. So I'm going to stop this.
Dan, I have a question really quick in the chat. Andrew just asked, it says that he doesn't understand the word override when it comes to a breakpoint. What exactly is being overridden?
Oh, yeah. Okay. All right. So that's perfect. All right. I'll show you in this next step. So let me show you what that means. Let's go look at a pipeline, and we'll look at actually, I'll show you. Okay, I'm going to show you this one. So see this pipeline, you can see there's a step here. It's only a one-step pipeline, and it has commands that are set to run. So when you set an override, what will happen is instead of running these commands, it's going to drop us into the debug console inside this container.